Good morning, my name is Enzo Groisman. I'm the founder of Green Road. I'm 40 years old and I'm a civil engineer graduated from the National Technological University, Paraná Regional Faculty. I'm from Villa, a small town in the center of the province of Entre Rios, and I'm currently living in Paraná, the capital city of Entre Rios. I'm the chief of my company, Green Road, which is focused on recycling car tires and plastics that end up in the oceans, transforming those materials into eco-friendly asphalt, and offering solutions using them to solve problems related with roads. The headquarters of Villa are located. The headquarters of Green Road, are located in Villa, a city which is also in Entre Rios, 30 kilometers away from the city where I was born. And last year, I expanded my company to Paraná by opening a new branch and an enormous recycling plant specifically to the industrial park of the city, to be able to offer sustainable solutions to much more cities all around the province and the country. The problem I would like to address is repairing with eco-friendly asphalt the broken streets in the Historic District of Paraná. This is because I consider the Historic Districts of Paraná the most iconic landmark of the entire city, since it is full of memorable buildings, full of history, and where most people of the city transit its busy streets every day. This is why I consider fundamental having streets in excellent conditions. Okay, I have organized the presentation this way. Firstly, I'm going to give you a description of Green Road by explaining the markets and services we offer, how the company is organized, and finally, I'm going to give you a description of a Green Road history for you to know us since our beginnings. In the second part of the presentation, what comes is the project development. I'm going to give you a tour around the Historic District of Paraná. After the tour, I'm going to state the problem of the potholes dispersed all around the Historic District, and finally, I'm going to give you a description of the project, which ensure that will let you see why Green Road is the most qualified company to carry out this project presented in this call for tenders. Okay, Green Road's principal service is transforming the plastics that end up in the oceans into plastic modular panels, which are used to pave roads, as you can see in the image on the top, and into eco-friendly asphalt, which will then be used to pave roads, as well as car tires, which are also transformed into eco-friendly asphalt, as well as the plastic. This asphalt will be used to pave roads, streets, highways, and many other things, and repair broken potholes which are dispersed on the streets or the roads. I would like to mention that the plastic that we use are plastics that end up in the ocean, and millions of tons of plastic end up in our oceans every year. This is why we are in contact with different NGOs which are focused on cleaning the oceans. We buy them the plastics they extract in order to help them um, continue doing their wonderful job, and we give those plastics, let's say, a second life by being used as an asphalt or as modular panels for the pavement of roads. I would also like to mention that our asphalts have reduced acoustic pollution compared with conventional asphalts, and millions of tons of carbon dioxide, which is issued in the production of the standard pavement, are avoided in the production of our asphalts. Green Road offers its services in a provincial level. However, we are expecting to be able to reach and expand Green Road to a national level, which I hope will be happening in the near future. Green Road only work with state agencies because, of course, they are responsible for the maintenance of the roads all around the province. But we have all the machines needed to do our work. This is why the government doesn't have to worry about this point. And now the company organization. I am the founder and president of Green Road. I'm in charge of the organizational aspects of my company. Also, I'm in charge of the important public relations and of choosing the best department manager for Green Road. However, I delegate many tasks referred to business strategy and policy to Mike Jordan, who is my CEO, and my right hand, who is always keeping himself in touch with the different departments of Green Road. Then the finance department, who who is in charge of Nicole Jones, um, whose major function is assessing long-term and short-term capital requirements, such as, for example, the acquisition of new machines, the salaries, the improvements on the recycling plant, and this department is divided into the payables account and the receivables account. Andrew James is the one in charge of the payables account, who is responsible for paying the bills, the salaries of the employees, the manpower who is working on our projects, and everyone who works on the different departments. However, Meredith Taylor is in charge of supervising the incoming payments. Also, both of them are responsible for recording every transaction done in their department. Jennifer Walker is my human resource manager, who deals with the recruitment of highly skilled and experienced manpower for the vacant positions in Green Road. But the recycling plant is where more personnel is constantly needed because of the increased use of our eco-friendly asphalt all around the province. Elizabeth Evans is the chief of the recycling department, who is responsible of buying our raw materials, the plastics and tires. In the case of the plastics, they are brought by the NGOs I previously mentioned to the recycling plant located in Vichawai, which is where our headquarters are. They are brought by them using trucks they have, and the tires are got by our workers using our trucks from different garbage dumps, since it has been reported that 130,000 of tires are thrown away in our province. They are both brought to Vichawai. However, if we are working on a project which is nearer to Paraná rather than to Vichawai, they are brought to the recycling plant of Paraná, of course. By the time the raw materials are on the recycling plant, our workers begin with the recycling process. By the time that process is finished, it is the project management department who coordinates the trucks and the workers to bring the eco-friendly asphalt and the modular panels to the construction site. The Research and Development Department is in charge of Justin Thomas, whose principal purpose is to do research into new techniques to make eco-friendly asphalt and other solutions related to the pavement of streets, highways, and roads. And finally, Olivia Foster is in charge of the Project Management Department, which is where every project is analyzed whether it is feasible or not. Olivia is also responsible for carrying out those projects previously mentioned, coordinating the manpower, the needed resources such as the machines we have, if the raw materials are enough, if the necessary asphalt is being produced, and etc. And then to coordinate the workers to bring the materials to the construction site after the process of recycling is finished, as I mentioned before. Now I'm going to give you an explanation of the company history. It was in 2005 when Green Road was founded by me in Villa Clara, after I graduated as a civil engineer. I started out by repairing some potholes in my city using asphalt, eco-friendly asphalt, by recycling old car tires, which was already a project I developed while I was still a student. I had a small office in my house and without hiring any employees yet. In 2006, I moved the headquarters from Villa Clara to Villa to expand my business and opened a new office on the city center. I rented a small recycling plant in the outskirts and hired 3 workers to help me with my small projects. 2 years later, in 2008, the first big project came to us. The local government hired us to asphalt the first entire street in Villa using eco-friendly asphalt. It took us a year until we finished it, and it was really comforting. In 2013, I bought a bigger office and hired many employees by dividing my company into departments, and in those employees I hired Mike Jordan, who is actually my CEO, was there. In 2015, the biggest challenge came to us in that year, which was paving the entire axis of 10 kilometers in Villa using our asphalt. It took us a year and a half until we finished it. But the moment when Green Road became widely recognized was in 2017, when my research and development manager, Justin Thomas, found out that plastics could be used to create eco-friendly asphalt and modular panels. He contacted different NGOs focused on clean the oceans to buy them those plastics and help them continue doing their job. And that same year we won an Excellence Award in Buenos Aires for Justin's solution to marine plastics. And in 2019, I expanded Green Road to Paraná, the capital city of Entre Rios, by opening an enormous recycling plant and an office in the same place, specifically in the industrial part of the city. Bought much more machines and vehicles to be able to reach almost every city of Entre Rios. And now, today, Green Road leads the market of the eco-friendly asphalt. However, I have to mention that it is not a, a big market, but we hope will become bigger in order to make the world a better place to live and help those NGOs which are doing a wonderful job. Now, what comes is the second part of the project development, the tour around the historic district of Paraná. I'm going to begin by showing you the map of the historic district of Paraná, which covers the area demarcated by the streets 25 de Mayo, Córdoba, Alameda de la Federación, Colón, and San Juan. If you begin walking by 25 de Mayo Street and turn right in Corrientes, you can see by your right the Nuestra Señora del Rosario de Paraná Cathedral, and by your left the Primero de Mayo Square, which is the principal square of Paraná. If you continue going straight ahead on the same street, you will see the José María Torres School, which is one of the schools founded by Domingo Faustino Sarmiento, and in the other corner the City Hall of Paraná. Also, in 25 Junio Street we have the 3 de Febrero Theater. Opposite to the Plaza Alvear, to Alvear Square, I'm sorry, we have the San Miguel de Arcángel Church, and opposite to the Plaza Mansilla we have the Government Palace of Entre Rios, which can be seen in the picture. Now I'm going to state the problem of the potholes dispersed all around the historic district of Paraná. This is a picture of a pothole in Corrientes Street, which has been this way for more than a year. This one is a pothole in 25 de Mayo Street, which is a picture taken by me. As I seen it, it hasn't been repaired for months and months, which of course caught my attention. These potholes also mean a real obstacle for people with reduced mobility. This is why, of course, they need to be maintenance in the streets. And of course, because of many accidents that happen in Paraná, are responsibility of those potholes and the the bad state of the street of Paraná. In these two pictures, what I want to show you is that it seems that an accident must happen before the pothole is repaired, and this shouldn't be this way. After a pothole appears, it must be repaired in order to avoid those accidents from happening and risking the lives of every person who lives in Paraná. But you might want to know why potholes are given rise in Paraná. One of the major causes of the rise of potholes in Paraná are the excavation movements and the tectonic plates movements, which are both unavoidable, as well as any other action which involves moving the soil. However, most of the streets in Paraná, in the historic district of Paraná specifically, have been poorly planned. This is why intense rainfalls and leaks in the water pipes make water enter into the ground under the pavement, and together with an intense traffic there, since it has maybe the busiest streets in Paraná, potholes are given rise. But even though the most causes that make the potholes give rise are unavoidable natural conditions, um, there's definitely a need of maintenance in the state of Paraná, uh, which is something everyone can see that hasn't been happening. Okay, now what comes is the first part of this presentation, and it is the project description. I have divided it into two stages and a contingency plan. Okay, now let's begin with the first stage. In this stage, we'll begin by making an inspection of the general state of the street enclosed in the Historic District. This will be done in order to identify the potholes dispersed on the streets and to have a general idea of what we will be facing. But before beginning with the repair, the recycling plant will be set in motion to produce the asphalt and modular panels needed to be able to begin with the repair. Now, in stage 2, we may face two possible scenarios. In one possible scenario, we will have isolated potholes dispersed on the street, and in the other one, we may face a street which is completely destroyed, in which there's no sense on repairing each pothole in a separated way. So, in the case of isolated potholes, we'll begin by fencing every pothole, since security is a fundamental concern in Green Road. After that, we'll begin by cleaning the surface, and after that, what we do is we pour our eco-friendly asphalt on the pothole, we compact the surface in order to have a flat termination, and cover the asphalt with sand. This is done in order to avoid it from sticking to the car tires while it is still fresh. And finally, we remove the fences. In the other possible scenario of a completely destroyed street, we'll begin by closing off the street to reduce the traffic there, and we remove using our machines, and the government doesn't have to worry about this because we have all the machines necessary to do this. I will remove the old asphalt. After that, we make use of our hollow modular panels, which are made of plastics. They are modular panels which are embedded like Legos, with easy access to water pipes, phone cables, electricity cables, and they are removable depending on the needs. And, which is really important, they are much cheaper than conventional asphalts. And we always have a contingency plan. The only two adverse situations we may face are a day with high temperature and a heavy rain. In the case of the high temperature, as in Paraná temperatures are not higher than 45 degrees, this will not mean a problem, because what may happen is that asphalt deform itself, causing deformation to the asphalt to the pavement, which will definitely mean an obstacle for the vehicle traffic. However, a heavy rain may mean a real obstacle for us. So in this case, what will happen is that we'll have much more workers on the recycling plant producing the modular panels and the eco-friendly asphalt for this project in Paraná. And this will be produced in a shorter time rather than if we have the normal workers there. You may want to know, why should you choose Green Road to carry out this project presented in this call for tenders? We have always achieved the best results and developed new constructive techniques in our projects. Winroads always prove to be a reliable, efficient, and sustainable company. We always offer much cheaper and cost-effective solutions since our asphalts are much cheaper than conventional asphalt. But the most important point for us, you will be helping the environment, and those NGOs trying to clean the oceans, and consequently you will be making the world a much better place to live. And that's all. The decision is up to you. Thank you for listening.